In our presentation today, we explore three foundational criminological theories: rational choice theory, cost-benefit analysis, and utilitarian theory. And we examine their relevance in understanding and combating internet fraud. First, let's look at the rational choice theory. The main proponents of rational choice theory include Cesare Beccaria, the Italian jurist and philosopher who lived between 1738 and 1794. He published his notable paper titled On Crimes and Punishments in the year 1764, where he advocated for proportional punishment and deterrence over retribution. Beccaria believed that individuals, when faced with the threat of punishment, would rationally choose to avoid crime if the cost outweighed the benefits. Another key figure is Jeremy Bentham, an English philosopher who lived between 1748 and 1832. In his publication in 1789 titled An Introduction to the Principles of Morals and Legislation, Bentham introduced the concept of hedonic calculus, a method for weighing pleasure against pain. The formula considers 7 variables: intensity, duration, propinquity, fecundity, purity, and extent of the pleasure of a specific action. Now, for Bentham, an action is to be preferred if the happiness or pleasure it produces is more intense, lasts longer, more certain that it will happen, will occur sooner, probable that it will be followed by another pleasure, is pure, benefits the greatest number of people. Modern rational choice theory was further developed by Ronald Clarke, a British criminologist born in 1941, and Derek Cornish too, a British psychologist born in 1939. Their seminal work titled The Reasoning Criminal, published in 1986, emphasized that offenders are reasoning individuals who make decisions based on situational opportunities and constraints. Rational choice theory assumes that crime is a calculated decision. It does not delve into psychological or sociological motivations, but focuses on how opportunities shape criminal behavior. For example, in Nigeria, the rise of internet fraud, locally known as Yahoo Yahoo, has been linked to the perception of internet fraud as a low-risk, high-reward venture. Just in 2023, 2 years ago, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, the EFCC, reported over 3,700 convictions for cyber-related offenses, many of which involved young adults exploiting digital vulnerabilities. Next, we examine the cost-benefit analysis. This theory was pioneered by Gary Becker, an American economist who lived from 1930 to 2014. In his groundbreaking paper titled Crime and Punishment: An Economic Approach, published in 1968, Becker applied microeconomic principles to criminal behavior, and he argued that individuals commit crimes when the expected benefits exceed the expected costs. Cost-benefit analysis is more of a decision-making tool that evaluates the economic efficiency of crime prevention strategies. It translates policy outcomes into monetary terms, allowing for comparisons across domains such as law enforcement, the judiciary, and correctional facilities. For instance, in Washington state, the legislature adopted recommendations from the Washington State Institute for Public Policy in 2006, which adopted cost-benefit analysis to rank crime prevention programs. The result was a reallocation of funds from prison construction to community-based interventions, saving taxpayers millions in dollars. In Nigeria also, the cost-benefit analysis has informed the EFCC's investment in digital forensic labs. Just last year, in 2024, the agency reported a 22% reduction, 22% in successful phishing attacks due to the improved detection capabilities, an outcome that justified the budgetary allocation. But wasn't that just quite late in 2024? Something you're supposed to be approving in 2014 or even 2004. When did the internet become a thing? Anyways, finally, let's turn to the utilitarian theory. Utilitarianism is an ethical framework founded by, again, Jeremy Bentham, and then developed by John Stuart Mill, who is a British philosopher who lived from 1806 to 1873. Mill's notable work titled Utilitarianism was published in 1861, where he refined Bentham's ideas by emphasizing qualitative differences in pleasures. Utilitarianism holds that actions are morally right if they produce the greatest happiness for the greatest number. Bentham's philosophic calculus, as mentioned earlier, provides a quantitative method for evaluating this balance. Importantly, utilitarianism is consequentialist in nature. It judges actions solely by their outcomes and not by their intentions. A modern application of utilitarian principles is the shared responsibility framework, the SRF, which is adopted in countries like Singapore, Australia, and Malaysia. This framework distributes accountability among consumers, telecommunication providers, and financial institutions to combat internet fraud. For example, Singapore's shared responsibility framework, launched in December 2024, mandates real-time fraud alerts, cooling off periods for high-risk transactions, and sender ID authentication for SMS messages. Since implementation, over 20 million scam messages have been blocked, significantly reducing phishing incidents. Now, research has shown how nations globally have applied these theories to curb the incidence of internet fraud. In the United States, Operation Shrouded was launched in 2015 to dismantle the dark old, a notorious cybercrime forum. The operation involved 20 countries and led to over 70 arrests. The anticipated outcome was to disrupt global cybercrime networks and deter future offenders through coordinated enforcement. In Nigeria, the EFCC strategic use of rational choice theory has led to targeted arrests and public awareness campaigns. In just 2022 alone, over 13 billion naira was recovered from internet fraud cases, again showcasing the effectiveness of situational crime prevention. Our findings so far on the theory's application to internet fraud and their legal implications. The rational choice theory explains the offender's decision-making process and therefore supports situational crime prevention. For example, installing a two-factor authentication reduces the attractiveness of digital platforms to fraudsters. Secondly, the cost-benefit analysis helps evaluate the efficiency of legal interventions. In California, for instance, budget constraints led to the release of low-risk inmates based on crime pattern analysis, saving billions in incarceration costs. And finally, the utilitarian theory. It justifies rehabilitative and deterrent policies that aim to maximize societal welfare. These criminological foundations offer powerful tools for understanding and combating internet fraud. As digital crime evolves, so must our theoretical and legal frameworks. By integrating rational choice, cost benefits, and utilitarian approaches, we can build a justice system that is not only effective but also equitable and forward-looking. Please like, share, leave a comment, and subscribe for more content. Thank you.